Walnuts are a superfood. The problem is that many people have trouble digesting them. Walnuts, especially black walnuts, have some incredible constituents that can improve health in several ways. So let's dig into it. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people. Natural remedies have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years because they work. And they work on humans and often pets too. As a traditional naturopath, I have learned to look at plants in what is called the signature of plants. And if you consider the doctrine of signatures, it's all about the color, the shape, the growth pattern, environment, all the things, even where it's grown, the heat, the cold, what it can tolerate. All of these things impart information as to how a food is going to serve us. And if you look at a walnut, it obviously looks like a brain. If you have the whole walnut and you don't break it apart, you see how the two sections interact. And then when you cut them apart, you can actually see the intricacies of the walnut and how it so compares to the brain. Now, ancients knew about this long before we even knew what the brain looked like. So let me get my next slide going here. And this is information from PubMed, and I will leave a link in the description below for the entire article that you can be informed. I really feel that people should do their own research. Now, it says oxidative stress and neuroinflammation have important roles in the aging process. Mild cognitive impairment, MCI, Alzheimer's disease, AD, and other brain disorders. Amyloid beta protein, now that's referred to as AB, is the main component of amyloid plaques in the brain. Now, these plaques have shown in several studies that it increases the generation of free radicals, and oxidative stress can actually end up in cell death. So AB can also induce neuroinflammation by increasing pro-inflammatory cytokines and enzymes. Now, that's a lot of words, but it really, all it means is this inflammation is actually killing our brain. And walnuts contain several components that have antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects. So that's the summary of it, but the article goes on to say many, many things, and I think it would be informative. So I've left a link in the description below. You know, years ago, people used to think that, or actually doctors and scientists used to say that whatever brain power you were born with, that's it. It doesn't get any better. And which is really unfortunate that we've been under this misconception for so many years, because the brain does grow new cells. And because the doctors didn't know what glial cells were, they just dismissed it. You know, it doesn't make any difference to them one way or the other. It doesn't impart any information to their surgery or medications or whatever. So it was just left, you know, the books just stopped right there. No investigation on what these glial cells actually do. So we know that food It's our medicine. And walnuts are one of those examples. It not only provides us with good nutrition, tastes great, but it can help us with brain power. So now some people do have trouble digesting nuts, and that stands to reason when you understand how nuts and seeds work. They have to be opened up. So now, just because you crack open a walnut doesn't make it bioavailable. It makes it available for you to eat, but to be bioavailable, it has to get rid of this coating that protects it so that when that nut falls to the ground, it can then grow into a tree. And these enzyme inhibitors protect the nut against that until the time is right. Then the nut will push out, swell up and push out, and then become a plant and a seed. So there is a trick that you can do, and it's called soaking. Now, you don't want to soak them in chlorinated water, but take maybe a half a cup of nuts, soak them, make sure they are covered with good filtered water. You can add some salt. Some people like to enhance the mineral value by adding sea salt. Now you only have to soak these 8 hours overnight, and then you dry them. You can put them in a dehydrator. You can put them in a very, very low oven if you can get your oven to go that low. There are mesh racks that you can purchase for this purpose and let them air dry outside if you're doing pounds and pounds of it at a time. Now, once that nut is dried, now it's far more digestible and it can be utilized by our body. Now, I created a video not too long ago called Tummy Trouble. And if you're having stomach distress, that might be a good video for you to watch. I will link it in the description below. So this enzyme inhibitor is one of nature's miracles. So every seed basically has to swell up in order for it to create the plant. And if you're a gardener like I am, some seeds actually tell you they will do better in soaking these seeds in a wet paper towel and putting it in a baggie and keeping it moist for a short amount of time until that seed can swell up and start growing a plant. Now, walnuts are rich in what is known as alpha lipoic acid, or ALA. They are one of the richest foods in this wonderful antioxidant, and they help protect skin and flexible tissue. And we have skin throughout our body, and this is a really great food for that skin. It is considered pure fuel, so it's nutrient dense. Now, the English walnut has a soft and thin shell, and it makes it easy to crack. I mean, a lot of people like cracking walnuts using one of those spring type crackers, and then usually a pick will come with it so that you can get out all the little nut meats out of the walnut. And The black walnut is one of the hardest nuts to crack. So here we have two walnuts and how different they are. Now you'll look at the texture on the English walnut versus the texture on the black walnut. Now, this black walnut has been used for dyeing clothes. It has been used for an abrasive. It has been used for so many things. And we'll get into a little bit more about the differences. But the black walnut tree is a wild tree, whereas the English walnut, that's what you see in most yards. Some call them Carpathian, but they are a certain type of walnut that has a thinner shell and is easier to crack. And the black walnut is hard and grooved. So they both have this element that helps with the building of ALA, the building of skin cells from ALA. Now, walnuts are quite versatile. You can use them in salads and main dishes, and of course, desserts. We use walnuts in everything from breakfast to dessert. So it's a very, very common nut, used a lot in baking, but the black walnut in taste wise is really much stronger, earthier than the English walnut. It also is different because the properties of the black walnut actually help to kill off parasites. And many people who garden will soak the black walnut shells and then spray that on different plants to protect them against parasites or bugs that will eat them. They're parasites. I mean, hornworms, it devastates a plant. So I consider them very much parasites. There are beneficial bugs and there are parasitical bugs. So Dr. Act has an informative article on black walnut, and I will link that in the description below. But according to the Pharmaceutical Society of Australia, black walnut is effective against ringworm, tapeworm, pin, or threadworm, and other parasites of the intestine. Now, you know, we think nothing of giving our animals shots to kill heartworm, and that shot could kill them. And so I would, if you're a pet lover, look into it, see what natural options are out there, what you might be able to protect your dog or cat with better when using anti-parasiticals and deworming these animals. There are gentler but very powerful ways of helping with intestinal parasites. And those people who live with animals, you are not immune. So you need to look into a parasite cleanse as well. I have linked one that I really, really like in the description below called ParaCleanse, and you can research it yourself. And it's just a good thing to do, maybe twice a year. Now, black walnut is also a fabulous source of natural iodine. So people who don't live along the ocean and live inland often will have problems not getting enough iodine for their thyroid and what it needs. So this is a really wonderful source of helping your thyroid be healthier. Black walnut actually is an immune modulator. And what this means is that a lot of thyroid conditions are also part of autoimmune conditions. And so when your immune system is out of whack, so to speak, you want immune modulators, things that will help to calm things down, help and support you. We have other wonderful herbs like bugleweed and melissa or lemon balm. I've talked about those. I have videos on those as well. And having that as part of your program, along with liquid black walnut, is something that might be of benefit to you. Now, if you are interested in a program or some suggestions on supplements, you can contact me, Dr. Mary, at bornforhealth.com. And by the way, if you are enjoying this video, getting some good information from it, please like and subscribe. And if you would like to comment, I would appreciate hearing from you. And please share, because people need to know that there is wonderful ancient medicine out there that is so beneficial for us and doesn't have the detrimental side effects that so many medications do. So the ancient Greeks used the hulls of black walnut to support the intestinal system and the skin. So it is interesting that they didn't have microscopes and they didn't have spectrometers and all these different techniques that we have now to prove scientifically what they knew hundreds of years ago. So herbalists classify black walnut as an astringent because it is rich in tannins, and I have a little story to tell you about that in a minute. And it has some fabulous toning qualities. So black walnut also contains bitter compounds. Now, years ago, I used to be bothered by little cold sores, and they would last and be so painful. And when I chew, it would invariably rub against one of these horrible, painful little sores. And it would take sometimes a week or so to clear up. Well, then I found out about the astringency of black walnut, and I put some in my mouth and I would swish it around. And I also learned there were people who actually using this as tooth whitener. So I would put some in my mouth, swish it around, and I knew that it was high in iodine, and I'm in Michigan, no seawater around me, so I would swallow it. And I did that for quite some time, actually helped me through my menopausal time. Now, when I would swish that the night before, in the morning, I'd wake up and that sore was gone. It was like a miracle. And so many people have benefited by me suggesting that they use black walnut when they had a sore. It's always in our cabinet now because I simply won't go without it. I actually bring it on trips with me because you don't know what you're going to get into. And black walnut, charcoal, probiotics, those are my three amigos when I go to Mexico or any other place, actually. If you want to keep your intestinal system healthy and not be dealing with Montezuma's revenge, you might want to try bringing some black walnut with you. So I hope that this little presentation has been helpful for you, that you've learned some things. Food is our best medicine, and it can be our downfall. So make sure you're choosing some good, healthy food every day. Try to increase what you're putting into your body and make it so that you're creating a healthier body instead of a sicker, older body. So the purpose of these videos is to help you understand about herbs and food and getting the body back into balance. You know, disease occurs when the body's out of balance. And that's what natural medicine is all about. Doctors prescribe and diagnose disease, and that's what they do. It's not the purpose of these videos. So natural medicine works with imbalances, whether they are emotional or physical, and many times those imbalances are due to a lack of knowledge. So people need to know how their body works and how they can feed it to be healthier. So please like and share these videos. Take control of your health by focusing on herbs and healthy eating. And by the way, look at the shape of this walnut. See how little less the meat is compared to the area in between the hull. So the actual shell is much thicker. So that's what makes it so hard. It's a tough nut to crack. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Please look for other videos of mine and the links that I've created in the description below. And until next time, this is Dr. Mary for the Health